Hello everyone and welcome to this video. This video I'm going to show you how to set up your Ansible configuration file. Now the Ansible configuration file is the default configuration that comes with Ansible when connecting to your nodes. But then you can also define your own configuration file per what you are doing. So now on the Ansible docs or the Ansible documentation page, you can see that we have the configuring Ansible over here. Now, when you click on reference documentation, sorry, let's click on example file on GitHub. Now, this is the default CFG that comes with Ansible when you install it. But there are a lot of configurations over here, depending on what you want to do. Choose what configuration that you want to include in your Ansible configuration file. But I want to keep it simple. Um, Regardless, we have a lot of configuration over here. You shouldn't use all the configuration. You should only use what you need at a particular time, depending on what you are doing. Okay, so back on Kali, I already have mine predefined. The first thing that you're going to do is that you're going to create a folder on your desktop and call it Ansible, that you know that you are working from that particular folder. So on my desktop, I have a folder called Ansible where I keep my Ansible configuration files. And as you can see, I have the Ansible CFG over here. As you can see, I have the YAML format or the YAML templates for my nodes that I'll be connecting to or nodes that I've connected to and worked on. Okay, so now I have my Ansible CFG over here. So I'll open a terminal. So mind you, first of all, you create a folder. First of all, create a folder. You can make a folder with mk, make directory, and then the folder name that you want to name it. I name it Ansible. I already have mine installed, so there's no need to create a new folder. So make folder Ansible, and then when you are done with the folder creation, you navigate into the Ansible folder, and now you create a new file called Ansible.cfg. So you're going to do something like nano Ansible.cfg. Okay. So if you're not comfortable with nano, you can also use the mouse pad or the leaf pad. So you right click and they create document, the file, and you name it Ansible.cfg, then you say create. Now you're going to get something like this over here. But let me open it using the terminal for you to see the differences highlighted in different colors. So nano Ansible.cfg. So now we're going to walk through the various configurations, the basic ones to get you going. For example, with mine. So the most important thing is your inventory file. Now your inventory file, as you can see over here, is where you have the nodes and the parameters or variables set for your nodes. When I say parameters or variables, for example, the username, the password, the network mode, and the model that you are using to connect you. Let me give you an overview of what it looks like. So for example, this is my host or inventory file, and as you can see, has different parameters for connecting to different devices. Don't worry, we'll come to this section and discuss how to set up your Ansible host file. So as you can see, these are different hosts that I've configured in my Ansible host file. So as you can see, for example, P1, the Ansible connection is network CLI, the network OS, and don't worry, we'll get here. So let me close this one. Now let's focus on the Ansible configuration, the basic configuration that I have over here. The first one is inventory. So now let's go back to the Ansible documentation, GitHub. Let's search for inventory. As you can see, That's the inventory. These are the basic configurations that comes with Ansible. The inventory is a core element in the Ansible CFG file. You cannot omit it. If you omit it, Ansible will have no visibility of the nodes that wants to connect to, and the parameters it will need also. A lot of configurations over here, but not needed. So for mind you, you should have an inventory set, and then you should follow the format on how I've set up my configuration file. The next one is host key checking. Now this will disable SSH key for checking for new devices. So let's do a lookup. So in the sample Ansible configuration file, I will search for host. That's called key checking. So this is host key checking. By default, it's set to true. Going to verify the host keys, SSH host keys for all new devices. You can just disable it and just run your Ansible playbook using your username and your password. And also, what we have here, we have duplication warnings. So in the Ansible documentation, there are some modules or some commands that are duplicated, but then it's still active and still active. So you would have some models that will expire in say 2025, but it's duplicated. So I'm going to tell you that beyond that year, there'll be no support for that particular model. But then you can still use it now. So you disable the duplication warnings. Now we have persistent connection. Let's search for persistent connection. So I'll search for persistent connection. So persistent connection configures a timeout in seconds. I mean, basically what it means is that per connection we connect per connection per node, the timeout and the persistency that connection remain active. Now the reason being that sometimes when you are pushing configurations to nodes, it's very important that you set this timeout or the retry, because sometimes the configuration might take time. For example, when you are copying um, files or you are pushing a lot of configurations on the configuration file to the node or to the devices, sometimes it may take time depending on how fast your PC is. So you need to set this just to be safe. Make sure your Ansible CFG is working. Okay, so basically these are the commands that you need to set to get you going with Ansible CFG. There are a lot of commands or configurations that you can add depending on what you are doing. So you can also add colors, what you want to set, and everything. So everything is right here. Read the documentation and you go move alongside with these lessons, and then you are good to go. Okay. So thank you for watching this video, and my next video I'm going to show you how to go about the Ansible host file, which is very important, specifying the parameters that you are going to need to connect to our Ansible or our managed nodes or our devices. Thank you for watching this video, and see you in next video.